So how is it possible that someone that makes $100,000 or $200,000 or even $1,000,000 can basically be broke? The answer is very simple. A lot of people are stupid, and I was also very stupid. I used to think that if I got myself some more money, it would fix all of my problems. But then I realized that I've always had more money. I've always made more money, and I always stayed broke no matter what it was. Now, thankfully, I realized this very early on because, for example, when I lived with my mom, I was broke and I was fine. Then I got a job. I was still broke. Then I got another job making more money and I was still broke. And I realized that, Tommy, no matter how much money you make, you're still stupid because in reality, what happens is the more money I made, the more I raised my expenses to the level of my income. And that is a natural rule when it comes to finances, and it only stops when you see that problem. So whether you make $100,000 or $1,000,000, you can end up broke because there's always an expense that can actually keep you at that exact same level. It's why you have people, for example, here's a saying, okay? Poor people use money to pay bills. Middle class use money to buy debt or to get debt, okay? Or get credit to get debt and stay in debt. And rich people actually use money to build wealth. So you don't actually have to be rich to use money to build wealth. And that's the cool thing because you become rich by having that attitude when it comes to money, and that should be your main focus. But more money isn't going to fix anything. Your income doesn't say anything about your wealth status at all because the average millionaire is in their 50s, they have normal jobs, and they have normal homes too. That's the crazy thing, okay? So the very first thing, guys, as always, guys, is like this video on top of also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. And with this video, I just want to give you guys some tools to use so this way you don't end up making a lot of money but still being broke. And the very first tool is going to be this. You have to learn to set a limit. You know, this entire society is not set up for limits. It's set up to make you feel like if you make money, you need to spend money because you basically deserve it. And that's just stupid, okay? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm saying stupid a lot, okay? I don't know why. He's been watching too much Dave Ramsey videos, okay? But overall, the idea is very simple. You gotta learn when to set a limit, when enough is enough. I have a friend. He made a lot of money. He's worth like a little bit over $10 million, I think. And he doesn't even have a paid off home, no paid off car, no paid off anything. And it's like, why do you have all this debt? And then he went ahead and lost a bunch of money. And it's like, it never ends. There's always something new to actually buy, something bigger, something better, something more expensive. The answer is, this game never ends. There's always more, more, more. And there's just saying, okay, if you have a lot of desires and you can't control them, eventually your desires are going to control you. And people that work in marketing, they understand this. This is why whenever you buy a car, it has like 15 different trim levels. It tells you, hey, this one is the luxurious. This one's the luxurious plus. This one's the luxurious platinum. You want to buy this one if you really want to have a lot of money. But it all comes down to you're buying something that takes you from point A to point B, and you're paying so much money for it just because someone told you this one is so much more luxurious. And it really does show a badge of honor that you are wealthy and you are rich. But then the rich people actually drive Toyotas and Hondas and Mazdas. That's the truth, okay? It's a fact. So overall, you need to set a limit. So how do you go about setting a limit? First, you need to establish what your baseline is. Your baseline is how much money can you actually live on without any comfort, just to survive in basically. That includes shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. What is that number? For me, it's $1,000. $1,000 per month, I live fine. Not nice, but fine, okay? Number two, you need to establish what your limit is as far as comfort that you can actually afford. So $1,000 is like, I'm fine, but $2,000, I'm very comfortable, okay? That's my limit. And by the way, it's not like to say, I can't do it with $4,000. It's a lot nicer, obviously, but if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. So you have to set reasonable amounts of comfort and limit what you have to limit, okay? That's the idea. And then the third level is figure out exactly what you're going to do with the extra money. Whether you have extra money from a paycheck today or from your next check, or for example, you're gonna get a raise soon and you know it, what are you gonna do with that extra money? Is it invest? Is it pay off debt? Is it save for a down payment? Use that money wisely. Do not use the extra money you have or make to go ahead and upgrade your lifestyle because it's just a stupid decision and that is what keeps you poor. Don't forget, rich people use money to buy wealth or to build wealth. But you can't use money to build wealth if all your money is tied up with stupidity like expenses and bills and cars and houses and all this stuff. Learn to, by the way, there's this very embarrassing thing which I did not include in this video, but it's also very important. Learn to be okay with looking like a failure. It's fine. In society, if you buy a car and you have to sell it or return it, you look like a failure. If you buy a home and it was too expensive and you realize it, you have to sell it back, you look like a failure. If you have to return something or sell your goods, you look like a loser. But those things are very important because you don't want to be normal, you don't want to be average, and what it takes to do what very few people basically get to do is very different from what the average folks do. So that's okay. All right? So don't feel bad about that stuff. It's fine. It's a part of the game. And I remember for a long time, all the clothes I wore, I got them straight out of Goodwill. All my phones, everything was used all the time. Like, it wasn't anything fancy, okay? And that's a part of the game. But if you want to have success, success is not looks. Success is actually being successful. And the people that care about the way you look, usually not the people that you actually want around you. That just comes from like experience in life. So number 2 is you want to act like the raise you got, the money you got, the extra money, the surplus, treat it like it doesn't even exist. Treat it like you have it there, but it's not even yours. Don't spend it on lifestyle upgrades. You know, I have a lot of friends, okay? I learned one of the gifts that I think God gave me is basically I'm able to see someone make a mistake and I'm able to say, hey, I'm not going to do that. Because sometimes you're like, you know, that's going to be different for me. No, I see right through it. If I do that stupid stuff, I'm going to end up in the same exact place, okay? So I have a friend. He went from making X to making X plus 1, a lot more money. And all of a sudden, this guy has a fancy house, a fancy truck, a fancy this, fancy that. And the idea is, don't forget about what really matters to you. It's not to say a fancy house is bad, a fancy truck is bad, but these things are not good when they keep you from actual financial freedom. And then I have another friend, okay? This other friend is just like me, okay? He's kind of crazy. He makes a lot of money. And this guy just treats like the money like it never existed. I spit everywhere again. He treats the money like it never exists. He basically just grabs the money, puts it in the bank and says, what am I going to invest in next? Some property, some stocks. I'm going to pay down this. I'm going to pay down that. I'm going to do, you know, that's how you really want to treat it. Treat money like it's a tool to actually increase your potential for financial freedom. Don't treat money as if it's something to actually make you look fancy. It's okay to be, for example, covering your basics, covering your comforts, but then beyond that, focus on the real stuff, okay? Actual investing and actually increasing your net worth. Your net worth is super, super key, okay? So you'll be a lot better off with driving an old car, having a reasonable home, and being able to save money to invest and to actually be rich in the future. Again, time is relative. That's the word, right? And it kind of feels sometimes like time takes forever, and sometimes like time just passes. It's like I feel like I was 19 or 18 years old just like a few days ago. But that was a long time ago, right? So imagine like in a few more years, I'll probably be like 50 and be like, I really should have done something differently when I was in my 20s or when I was in my 30s, okay? So take advantage of the time you have now because in the future, you're not going to have the time anymore, okay? Now, here's a big warning I want to end this video with. And it's basically beware of your neighbors. You know yourself. And first, who you are is who you are, right? But what you are is a human being. And human beings are social creatures. And we understand this, okay? So it's to say that if you hang around people that act rich, eventually you're start to act rich too. Hang around poor people, you're start to take some of those habits too, right? So even with this channel, the reason I created it initially, in a sense, was because I'm interested in finance and money, but I really wanted to find myself like a little group of people that were just as boring as I was, that were interested in long-term investments, interested in making money, growing their funds, that weren't interested in just basically spending money and all this stuff. And that's what I built here, thanks to you guys. So when you think about 528,000 weirdos that watch this channel and are part subscribers, that's what we all are here. We're weirdos because what we tend to do is very different than the average person. And what you really want to be set on are your principles about money. That money is a tool to actually get you financial independence. That money is not for looks, that the way you look doesn't matter, unless you're ugly like me. But that's the idea, right? It doesn't really do anything crazy. But that's the overall fact, guys, okay? So when you think about why someone that makes so much money is broke, is a simple answer to say, maybe I shouldn't make this videos that long, okay? But it's as simple as saying like they spend more than they make. And the only way to get wealthy is spend less than you make and invest a difference in some way. That's it. It comes down to being that basic. But guys, comment down below basic so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. And as always, long-term team officially out. More videos here, bases here. Subscribe. As always, Peace. I like my weirdo team. I love it. See you guys later. Peace.